Board, may I have a roll call?
Freeholder Carter. Freeholder Estrada.
Present.
Freeholder Granados.
Here.
Freeholder Hudak.
Here.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Here.
Freeholder Mirabella.
Present.
Freeholder Wright.
Here.
Vice Chairman Bergen.
Here.
And Chairman Jallo.
Here.
Chairman, you have 8 freeholders present.
Thank you. Clerk of the Board, can you please lead us in the prayer and salute to the flag?
Humbly we ask God, the giver of peace and the lover of charity, to give the entire family of nations true agreement with his will, and to grant the light of his spirit on all who work for justice and peace. Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, at this time, I will make a few presentations on behalf of the Board.
Chairman, if I could just read the Open Public Meetings Act.
Of course, absolutely. What am I doing? Clerk of the Board, will you please read the Statement of Compliance with the Open Public Meeting Act?
Thank you kindly. The Chair wishes to announce that pursuant to the requirements of New Jersey statutes annotated, Title 10, Chapter 4, Section 10 of the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting of the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Union has been given by mailing the annual meeting schedule for the year 2015, along with periodic changes necessitated by circumstances, to the newspapers circulating within the County of Union who are designated to receive such notice, and by posting the annual meeting schedule for the year 2015 in the Administration Building, and further by filing the annual meeting schedule for the year 2015 with the Office of the County Clerk.
Thank you. Thank you. I was just so excited to get to our presentations that I almost forgot the important business part. I'm going to ask Freeholder Granados to come up with me to present this award. You know, the Freeholder Board has the opportunity to give awards and give freeholder resolutions to people in the county who do amazing things and things that deserve recognition. And oftentimes, as is our time today, we have the opportunity to give a resident that makes us at the Freeholder Board very proud an award. And this time we have Mr. Nuno Pereira, from Hillside, New Jersey, who received the Jack Kent Cook Scholarship for his accomplishments. This is, come on up. Please give him a round of applause. This is one of Union County's own who went to the county schools. He went to Union County College, and he's received, let me make sure I have this right, is a part of 4 honor societies, and he received this scholarship that's only awarded to 90 out of 2,000 students nationwide, right? He will be receiving $40,000 a year until the completion of his BA, right? So, you know, I think the question everyone wants to know is where you're going to spend the money at.
I will be going to John Jay College of Criminal Justice in New York, and I'll be pursuing a master's degree in forensic psychology.
That's fantastic. Sergio, do you want to?
Thank you, Chairman. And also to note that Nuno is actually the first individual from Union County College to ever receive this prestigious award, so let's definitely give him a round of applause for that. Nuno, on top of his academic affairs, he's somebody who's always been giving back to the community. I know on various times I've called upon him and his organization, and they've always been willing and most helpful when it comes to giving back to the community, so we definitely do appreciate that. And on behalf of the chairman, thank you for everything you do in our community.
And it's so much, I forgot to mention, he's also president of the student council at Union County College as well. This guy does everything. So, you know, we had to bring him. He actually came to our freeholder meeting last week or 2 weeks ago just to participate and be a part of the audience and be a part of what was going on here. So, we're very proud of this young man. The Freeholder Board is proud of this young man, which is why we're presenting him with this resolution. We know we're going to see him again. Once he gets his degree, he's coming back to New Jersey, right? Coming back to Union County and use it here. So this is not the last that we will see of him. So congratulations, this resolution is for you. Now, in that same vein, we have a group of students that make us proud here in Union County, and especially make me proud coming from the town where I grew up, Roselle. Can I get a round of applause for Roselle? Roselle in the house? All right. Roselle's in the house, right? Anyone sing a cappella here? Anyone? Yeah, all these hands. Can we do a little bit of singing on the board? All right. I'm going to call up their principal, Rashawn Mickens, to help us acknowledge and give award to all of these wonderful students who call themselves the Leading Tones, who performed with Lucy Hell and did a concert for meningitis. I believe this came out of a request from Miss Hell for her fans to participate in a competition to see who can do the best job and who would win, and we have our own residents right here, our own students right here at Abraham Clark High School who apparently have the best voices in New York metropolitan areas. So round of applause for you guys.
Thank you, Chairman. Extremely proud of these young men and women here. Did an awesome job. I'd like to call up Ori Alawele. Karina Echeverria. Valerie Luxema. Tatiana Wimbush. Mecca Ali. Leah Snow. Ife Aloe. Dwayne Patterson. Kyle Gordon. Robert Stevens. And last but certainly not least, Elkin Vitas. Congratulations. They're getting themselves together. Our music director isn't here today. He couldn't be here, so I filled in for him, which is wonderful because I was coming anyway. So I said, hey, I'll just fill in for you, and I'll say a few words about our wonderful students. They did a great job with putting this together. Our a cappella group was something that Mr. Marcus Daniel, our music director, began, and these young men and women that you see here were just excited about joining the program, and they just did a phenomenal job with staying late hours, putting their songs together, and when they put out the competition, they actually won amongst thousands of contestants. So, when it was put out there, Lucy Hell and her people saw it, and they said, we want these guys from Roselle to come and sing with us. So that's what happened, and like a chairman said, we were the top school, the best school in the metropolitan area, New York, New Jersey metropolitan area. So we were chosen, and these guys performed with her, and the whole premise of the program was surrounded around meningitis, to bring awareness to it. So they did a good job, excellent job. We're extremely proud of them, and we just know that going forward, that this group here will definitely be doing even better things. They're starting off very small, but it will grow. So many students in the school are interested in joining the a cappella group. So again, we're extremely proud of them for a job well done. They definitely put Abraham Clark High School on the map in Roselle, as the chairman said. So we're extremely proud of them. If you give them a round of applause, we greatly appreciate that. Thank you.
I always talk everywhere I go about all the talent we have right here in Union County with our young people. And so you guys proved us right once again. We thank you very much. We're so very proud of you.
Nice song, Chairman. This song.
Chairman, we appreciate the parents for their support.
Absolutely. Next time we have you guys back, we're going to ask you to sing. I don't want to put you on the spot. Let's do it. Let's do it. Nothing but a word. Let's do it.
Jump in there, Chairman. It's acapella. There you go. It's great. Yeah, they get the props here. Here you go. Hello? Can you hear me?
Days come, days go. We try to take the time to let love grow. Don't ignore the sands of time. Just let a little love in yours and mine. Friends come and friends will go. The ones that last a lifetime savor so. Life goes on, so sublime, but only if we stop and take some time. Every season, listen to the rhythm of the earth and sky. The rhyme and the reason of living in today while thinking of tomorrow. Days pass and nights unfold. The innocence of youth becomes the wisdom of the old. We must remember love and once again we learn to live a life we love.
Wow, that was wonderful. Thank you. Thank you all very much. It's beautiful.
Wow.
Wow.
That was great.
I don't know how to follow that up. Meeting adjourned? I'll ask Freeholder Mirabella to come up and join me on this one. This is a program that the Freeholder Board feels very special about, and one that Mirabella was actually instrumental in helping to make sure that the Freeholder Board has brought to the public. So I'm going to give the microphone over to Freeholder Mirabella.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. You sure you don't want to sing anything? You could probably do it. Anyway, I'm honored here to represent the Freeholder Board in honoring 3 schools that excelled in a recent, I guess it's competition. We started, as the chairman mentioned, the UC STEP program 3 years ago at the county and brought the best and brightest students from across Union County, representing each high school. And they came together for a one-day leadership conference and a community involvement conference. And it was the tradition last year started with the different groups splitting up and coming up with different ideas to help their community, help their school, help veterans. Last year's program was Support for Soldiers, where communities and schools across Union County donated boxes and boxes to our soldiers across the world. This year, we had a program that was selected called Donate to Educate. And it was for schools to gather school supplies for districts that needed that kind of support. And 3 schools rose up and really did extremely well, and we want to honor them tonight and give them some funding back to their communities and to their schools. And I'm honored to call the first school up in 3rd place, Governor Livingston High School from Berkeley Heights. A round of applause. Michelle Morin is the guidance counselor. We have Kristen Santulo and Alex Gonzalez. Alex is studying for physics. Yeah, that's what I would be doing. So we have, we want to give this. Do you want to say a couple of words on your school efforts and how you raised the...
Sure. Well, Kristen and Alex were really primary leaders of this with their parents who came to everything. We had boxes spread out through all our schools and in the community, and we were able to raise over 2,000 items for students in Union County for their efforts. So thank you so much to everybody that helped out. Thank you for everybody for recognizing us. And we took 3rd place last year, so we're doing good. It's great. Thank you so much.
Don't catch it. That's really very comfortable.
Thanks
Thank
very
you so
much.
much.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you again. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, congratulations, Governor Livingston. 2nd place, Union County Technology, Engineering, Architecture, Math, Science Charter School. Well, that's a mouthful. And I would have Jasmine Bethia come up and Esther Lawal come up, please. Congratulations. Oh, you have your shirt on too. Boy, that's great. Thank you. You guys want to talk? Say a couple words?
Sure. Well, we weren't expecting this. Esther is actually the president of UC STEP at our school. It was a long, hard road. It was a little bit difficult. We were trying to figure out how to get people to get excited about donating to other schools. But the kids came up with some great ideas, and their hard work really paid off. So thank you.
And our winner, Union Catholic High School. Representatives are Jennifer Dixon, our guidance counselor, and then the McGloin family. I'll call Melissa, Jessica, and Billy up. Real family effort. I see your parents here too. And they're the recipients of a $1,000 contribution to their school to use as they see fit. Congratulations, guys. Who's speaking?
Melissa was our chairperson for this project, and she's got a built-in team here. Melissa and her siblings are triplets, and they are a force to be reckoned with. She did an amazing job. She was completely relentless. She had a core team of about 15 students who consistently, weekly, were fundraising and sending out emails, and they did an amazing, amazing job. So congratulations, Melissa.
It's really been a pleasure working with such a great team of people, both in my school, and I met a lot of nice and really hardworking people throughout the county. And it's really been an awesome experience, and I really look forward to participating again in the future. And I couldn't have done it without the help of Mrs. Dixon and a really great team of people that I worked with at my school. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
Give their parents a big round of applause, too. Congratulations. Thank you. And thanks to Mayor Bolwich for being here to honor the students, too. Thanks, Mayor.
All right, now we're going to get back into the business portion of our meeting. You all are welcome to stick around. However, if I were you, I'd probably have something better to do on a Thursday evening.
It didn't take much encouragement, did it, Chairman?
All right, approval of communications. We will approve the following communications at next week's meeting. First, we'll call up the Office of the Union County Sheriff, Lieutenant George Curse.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I'm Lieutenant George Kurz, representing the Sheriff's Office here tonight. We have one item on the agenda, and I will do my best to answer any questions you have on that item.
Any questions from the board? Freeholder Kowalski.
Yes. Do we know how many people have participated so far in this program?
I know what the sign-up, how many people have signed up for the next go-round, which is what we're talking about in the resolution. And right now, we're at 71.
Okay.
Which is an increase from where we,
And
significant increase.
and was this was there a crossover between this program and the Biggest Loser program?
No, but we do advertise the people that are successful, and that's been widespread.
Okay, thank you.
What was what was the addition, the original expenditure for this?
I don't have that figure this evening.
Okay. Okay. All right. If you can get it to us.
I can.
Yeah, between now and next week. All right. I've. You have it now?
Yeah, I was told
Okay.
$16,000. Thank you. Thank you.
How much was it? It was
16,000.
All right. And so this is to expand it for 18 months.
Up to 18 months.
Up to 18 months. Okay. I've seen many of our employees participating in this. You know, it's I think it's really good to provide, you know, some health options for our employees. I see them benefiting from it. One thing that I'd like to look into, and I've asked our director to look into, is if there's any sort of insurance benefit for having a program like this for our employees, if we get anything back. So if you can take a look into that. I know insurance companies appreciate when, you know, for example, there's programs for if we have gym memberships, et cetera,
Right.
where we potentially get a discount or get some money back.
I can address that. We have been, this has been an approved program to participate in that program with Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Okay. 'Cause it might be cool to know if we're getting any money back as a result of this from our insurance rate. So, you know, if you can let us know at any point in time, I'd appreciate that as well. All right? Was there any other questions? No? All right. Office of the Union County Prosecutor, First Assistant Tim Eisenhower.
Good evening, Chairman, members of the board. The Prosecutor's Office has one resolution for your consideration. I'll be happy to take any questions you may have.
Let's start with Middlesex County. What is their role in this shared service arrangement?
Chairman, if you remember last year, we came before the board with a shared service agreement with the Middlesex County Prosecutor's Office. What they sought to do and what we agreed to do with the memorandum of understanding was to basically provide them space at the laboratory, and they would provide a DNA analyst of their own. They would fully fund his salary and pay a certain portion of for the materials that he would use in order to do his DNA analysis. In exchange for us allowing him to use our space and our equipment, he agreed to spend 25% of his time working on Union County cases, 75% on Middlesex County. So in that we had the extra space, it was beneficial to both parties to do that. What we noticed was at the time we did the agreement, we did not address the overtime issue. I believe during certain presentations I know I've made to the board, and I believe my predecessor made to the board, Matt Gabriel, our director at the laboratory, was very successful in obtaining grant money, DNA reduction grant money. It's actually the backlog reduction grant. It's approximately $1.5 million he obtained, and it can be used for salaries as well as equipment and supplies, and all those things are very expensive. Basically, we have utilized that grant to the fullest extent possible, and we have excess money available in the grant. Because the initial agreement did not call for or provision overtime, we have the money available for it, but the agreement doesn't allow for it. So all this amendment does is allow us to pay him overtime. He will be working on Union County cases. The grant itself is not restricted geographically, just to Union County grace, so there's no problem with the grant. And once again, both counties will benefit as a result.
Okay. Thank you very much. Any questions from the board? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you.
Department of Administrative Services, Norman Albert, Director.
Thank you, Chairman. The department has 4 resolutions on for your consideration. I'd be happy to try to address any questions the board might have.
Any questions from the board? Thank you, Director.
Thank you.
Department of Corrections, Director Brian Reardon.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. The jail, Department of Correction, has 2 resolutions for your consideration. I'll try to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions from the board? I noticed that with regard to number 1, that's a 6-month period.
That's correct.
What is the full amount? Is it double that, or?
We allocate this amount of money every 6 months
Okay.
for the purpose. It's because of the conflict of the schedule between our budgetary year and the state fiscal budget.
Okay.
So we do it 6-month increments just to make sure that the agreements that we have in place with the state as we understand them now will continue to remain during the next 6 months before we put this resolution forward to you.
Very good. All right. Any other questions? Thank you, Director.
Thank you.
Department of Economic Development, Deputy County Manager, Bill Reyes.
Good evening, Chairman. Freeholder.
Congratulations on your alma mater winning the UC.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Took a picture outside for the newsletter. Good evening, Chairman and Freeholders. Economic Development has 13 items for your consideration, and if I may, I'd like to add 2 items for consideration regarding the WIB. One would be an extension, an amendment to a resolution that would ask for an extension of time, and the other one would be to allocate some funding for youth employment programs throughout the following year.
Freeholder Hudak.
Thank you, Chairman. Just a number of questions. In regards to number 3, the change order from NETA for the correctional facility, what is that $77,000 for?
This is for NETA to be able to inspect the construction in terms of the design for the elevators in the last phase of the improvements, which is phase 3, which we're currently in.
Why wasn't that anticipated originally?
In the original contract, I believe it was because the work on the elevators was more extensive than originally necessary and then thought of. And so therefore, the NETA was asked, was really required to be the inspector of the constructions in terms of the design.
Okay, great. In regard to the courthouse tower stairwell modernization project, I do, I have somewhat of an understanding of the $124,000 for that project, that change order. Are we to anticipate any additional change orders on that project for the rest of the year, or as that project goes forward above the $3 million that's already budgeted for it?
Yeah, right now, there's not anticipated change order, and the $124,000 is for the actual design of that room. So obviously, the cost of the build-out
Yeah.
will be extra, but as far as right now, no, there's no anticipation for any further change orders.
Okay. Two other, you had a lot on the agenda. I noticed the 2016 NJTPA grant was for $131,000. We're anticipating $131,000 from the NJTPA. I noticed we also have a resolution accepting this year's award which is a bit more. Is there a reason that we're expecting it to be a lower award in 2016?
No, other than the fact that the funding has gone down.
Consistently,
No,
so we're
consistently, yes.
That makes sense. And lastly, I see we have the bid on for Warnaco and that project, and just want to say I'm very excited about it. I'm glad to see that
So
one
are
moving
we.
forward.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
It's gonna be a
Director.
great project. Oh, and the renderings are outside, by the way, if freeholders who had not seen it, right in the entranceway.
Freeholder Granados.
Yes, a couple questions. In reference to number 2, if you can further explain the Home Investment Partnership Consolidation Action Plan. Also, I'm going to give you a list and then just go after it. In reference to youth program, how many different municipalities are going to be benefiting from this program, and how many individuals, how many youth will be benefiting? And if you can further elaborate, as we all know, is a great program, number 11, please.
Okay, let me begin with number 2. The reason for the change, one, there's a name change. And this, by the way, the Rawway project is actually for the artist lofts that are going to be built in Rawway. There is a name change, as you can see, and then $134,000 was taken from that project to be able to complete the Linden Senior Housing Project, which is located on St. George. And it is anticipated that Rawway, the Hal Lofting project will then receive further funding in the new 2016 year. But right now, to be able to finish off the project in Linden, we used the funds that were initially for Rawway. And of course, it was good timing that the name of the LLC has changed as well. The next one was
The youth. How many
the
municipalities
youth.
and how many youth?
The municipalities that will be using it will be Elizabeth, Plainfield, Clark, and Roselle. And the program will approximately help a little bit over 100 Union County youths. And then the last one was number 11. The infrastructure, I'm sorry, what was the question?
Expand on it, please.
Oh, expand on
Residents
it.
who have any questions.
Sure. This was an initiative to be able to use some of the proceeds from Runnels to be able to give direct municipal aid to municipalities. All 21 municipalities applied for projects, and through the fiscal committee, went through each one of them and each request and allocated certain amounts of funds to them, and there will be an award if approved the next freeholder meeting, which is the 18th.
And all 21 different municipalities receive funding, correct?
Every municipality that applied, which is all of them, will receive some sort of funding, correct.
Sounds great, thank you. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Any other? Freeholder Klosky.
Thank you. Number 7, always glad to see a price reduced instead of increased. Can you explain a little bit about what happened with that dam repair project?
Sure, I'll ask Tom to help me out on that one.
Yes, this project involved 8 of our dams. It's just miscellaneous things we found during the regular 2-year inspection that we subsequently got a set of plans and had it fixed. Part of when you do any project like this is a lot of unit prices and estimates, and when they actually do the work, we actually measure exactly what they do, and we pay them that amount. It just turned that we had less need in quantities than were projected, so we had this money left over.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the board? Thank you, Director.
Thank you.
All right. Department of Finance, Director Taylor.
Good evening, Chairman and members of the board. The Department of Finance has 16 resolutions for your consideration this evening, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Any questions, board? Thank you, Director. Department of Human Services, Director Frank Guzzo.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, the department has 6 resolutions on for your consideration, and I will attempt to answer any questions you have at this time.
Freeholder Granados.
Thank you, Chairman. In reference to number 5, Community Access Unlimited, what are some of the services they'll be providing? He says various services, or what are some?
They provide out-of-school education for kids that have disabilities, and just, if I may add, this service would have been discontinued if not for the board agreeing to supplement the loss of the peer grouping dollars. So this is one of those services that the county would have lost if not for the board bringing up the peer, dealing with the peer grouping issue that we were facing.
How many youth actually benefit from this program?
If you want to ask, I'll look, and I'm sure I have it, or you'll have it shortly.
All right. Thank you.
Anyone else? Director, can you tell us what's going on number 3, specifically to the upfronting or advancing of a payment? Why are we doing that?
We're doing this because a lot of these agencies have these are services that are provided to clients, and gaps in services would prevent them from getting the services that they need. So we provide an upfront 1 month's payment in order to continue a continuum of services so that there's no break for them.
Is that something we do typically, or does it have something to do with a cycle?
We do it with certain programs. This is one of them that we do because of the way that the funding comes in. So, but this is, it's, as you know, if we went according to the contract and when the funding came in, those services like food vouchers and whatnot would just cease to exist. So we give a month's front just to keep going, and it's beneficial for the clients that need the service.
If I may, Chairman, there are certain federal and state grants where this is allowed, especially for individuals in a low-income status.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you, Director.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Department of Parks and Recreation, Director Ronald Zuber.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and Freeholders. The Department of Parks and Recreation has 2 items on tonight's agenda, and I'll try to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions? Freeholder Granados.
Thank you, Chairman. Just reference to number 2. I see we're partnering up with the Special Olympics organization. What are some of the activities going to be taking place, and where are the locations going to be held within our park system?
Well, the activities are going to be junior soccer, and that's going to take place at Oak Ridge. Archery, which will also take place at Oak Ridge, and golf at the Learning Center.
How many kids usually participate in these programs?
Freeholder, I don't have that number with me tonight, but I'll get it for you by tomorrow morning.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Department of Public Works and Facilities, Director Joe Graziano.
Good evening, Chairman, Freeholders. The department has 6 resolutions on the printed agenda, and I'd like to discuss bringing another one up from the podium. Overlook Hospital has a 5K every year, and they shut down, they'd like to shut down Broad Street for 2 hours, a certain section of it. And they just got all their paperwork into me today. So I'd like to bring that up to your attention tonight and to put it on the agenda for tonight if that's possible. And with the other 6, I'll answer any questions that you have.
Freeholder Hudak.
Thank you, Chairman. Regarding number 2, I see that's just an account change for the Xerox contract, but just it says the value in the contract period will remain the same. Could you just enlighten me as to what the value of that contract is and when it does in fact expire?
Sure. The current contract we have is a 60-month contract. It commenced on January 1st of 13, and it ends on December 31st of 2017. and it's a $1.8 million contract. 1831758 is the actual numbers.
Is that an annual number, or that's
That's the whole contract.
a total for the 60 months?
That's a total not to exceed.
Okay, great. Thank you, Jim.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Chairman.
Freeholder Estrada.
Yes, a big question. Number one, Director Graziano, he says that about, this is the use of the facilities of the City of Elizabeth Parking Authority, for not to exceed $250,000. Is that refundable by the state?
No, sir, it's not. That's fully funded by us. We have to fund jury parking as per the state, but we don't get any funding back from the state to do that.
Right.
Thank you, Joe.
It's called
You're
an
welcome, sir.
unfunded mandate.
Yes. Took the words out of my mouth. Anyone else? Thank you, Director.
Thank you, Chairman.
Office of the County Council.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Office of the County Council has 3 items on the written agenda for tonight, and with your permission, we would have another item I would request to be added, which would be a resolution appointing counsel in a new matter we received in the matter of Ronald Bonadis versus as administrator of the estate of Celestina Tiarsi versus the County of Union. I'd be happy to answer any questions on any of the items.
Any questions from the board? Seeing none, thank you, County Council. All right. At this time, I'll ask if any freeholders have any additional resolutions to add or friendly amendments. Freeholder Hudak.
Chairman Jallo, if the clerk would mind checking with Freeholder Carter if I could join her on number 1, and Freeholder Kowalski, if you wouldn't mind if I joined you on number 5.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Chairman.
All right, Freeholder Granados.
If Freeholder Serrano doesn't mind me joining on number 2 with them, I might have a lot of stories and stuff also.
All
next
right.
week.
All right. He says, of course not, so it's settled. All right. Anyone else? All right, great. We have the need to go into an executive session. County Council, can you make your statement relative to same?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, the public body may go into executive session for the purpose of discussing certain enumerated subjects. This board now wishes to enter into executive session for the purpose of discussing attorney-client privilege communication and anticipated contract negotiations relative to the Oakwood Plaza project, attorney-client privilege communications and discussions relative to ongoing negotiations with Council 8, HPAE, CWA, and PBA 199A, and potential settlement in the matter of Partner Engineering and Science, Inc. versus County of Union. Minutes of the executive session shall be separated from the minutes of the open public session. Minutes of the executive session, redacted as appropriate and necessary, shall be available in approximately 30 days. Clerk to the board shall retain the original minutes until such time as the confidential limitations have been removed, at which time they shall be made available. Upon the affirmative vote of a majority of the members present, the board may retire to executive session. Given this is an agenda meeting, no formal action will be taken on the matters discussed.
All right, may I have a motion to enter into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Freeholder Mirabella, seconded by Freeholder Granados. From the board, may I have a roll call?
Freeholder Estrada?
Yes.
Freeholder Granados?
Aye.
Freeholder Hudak?
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski?
Yes.
Freeholder Mirabella?
Aye.
Freeholder Wright?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Bergen?
Yes.
And Chairman Jallo?
Aye.
Chairman, you have 8 votes in the affirmative.
Thank you. We're in executive session. Have a motion to return from executive session?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Moved by Freeholder Mirabella, seconded by Freeholder Estrada. Clerk of the board, may we have a roll call?
Freeholder Estrada?
Yes.
Freeholder Granados?
Aye.
Freeholder Hudak?
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski?
Yes.
Freeholder Mirabella?
Aye.
Freeholder Wright?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Bergen?
Yes.
Chairman Jallo?
Aye. Is there any statement that we need to make, County Council, relative to the executive session?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. As a result of discussions in executive session, I will have, with your permission, 2 resolutions to add to next week's agenda. One will be a resolution for the hiring of Hawkins Delafield law firm for legal services as bond counsel relative to the Oakwood Plaza project, the county guarantee, and a resolution authorizing settlement in the matter of Partner Engineering Services, Inc. versus the County of Union.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I also will be adding a resolution for appointments to the Union County Utilities Authority for next meeting. Is there anything else? Any other business? So at this time, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Freeholder Chris Hudak, seconded by Freeholder Granados. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Yes.
Yes.
I think the ayes have it. Meeting adjourned.